In this section of the concept map, we would understand two important things. One is the leaf modifications and then the simple and the compound leaves, the examples for the same. So coming on to leaf modification, the first is tendrils. A good example is Pisum sativum or pea tree, which we understand where we have the concept of tendrils. Now tendrils can be of various types. If I talk about the whole leaf becoming a tendril, in that case, the good example would be the Litharus epica. If I say only a leaflet becomes a tendril, in that case, the example would be what? We have well understood. It is Pisum sativum, as we can understand. Now, the next is conversion into spines. So, leaves actually convert into thorns and these are known as leaf spines. The idea is to prevent the tree from excessive transpiration, and this occurs in a arid area. So good example of leaf converting into spine is Solanum suratinus. So that's one of the good examples. Then sometimes leaf converts into hooks. So as you can see, here is a hooked leaf. Now hooked leaf are seen in Dozentha unguloscati. So that is another important example of a hooked leaf. Then we have phyllodes. Now when I say phyllodes or phylloclades, those are seen again in the Acacia species. The idea is to reduce the transpiration and those are again seen in arid areas. Some of the leaves are modified as insect catching leaves. So pitcher plant is a good example. Some leaves are transferred into succulent plants. Succulent plants are mainly for storage. So aloe vera, agave, as we discussed in our previous concept map as well, those are good examples of succulent leaves. Sometimes the leaf convert into scale leaves. Now these scale leaves are known as cataphylls. These cataphylls are seen in Casrinia as one of the plants, and then floral leaves are also seen where leaves are specialized and they actually have a role in decoration in the flower. Then we have understanding of a simple leaf and a compound leaf. Now simple leaf is a leaf in which the lamina remains one, it is not divided. However, here the lamina is divided into small leaflets and this is where we say it is a compound leaf. Now both the leaves could be pinnate or palmate, as we said. Pinnate runs from the center till the midrib and then you have the secondary venation. However, under palmate there is petiole and then leaflets are seen which are bifurcated. So in the compound leaves it could be either pinnate or palmate. Now pinnate can be unipillate, that means there is just one central rachis that is followed. For example, rose, cassia. So those are examples of unipinnate. Then there is bipinnate leaves where there are two rachis. So one rachis and then secondary rachis for the same. Acacia is a good example. Then we have tripinnate. So again in the pinnate itself there is tripinnate. Example of tripinnate is moringa. And then there is D compound where rachis is divided into more than 3. So numerous branches are clearly seen and a good example is carrot. So 4 classifications under pinnate: unipinnate rose, bipinnate acacia, tripinnate moringa which is drumstick, and D compound which is carrot. Now under palmate again we have unifoliate. Unifoliate, a good example is citrus trees. Bifoliate, Balanthus. Trifoliate in Trifolium, very simple to remember. Quadrifoliate in Paris, Quadrifloria, again simple to remember from the name itself. And then multifoliate in Bombax. So those are the cases under palmate. So the types of compound leaves, again very important, and how do we remember it is again an important thing that you must see. We'll be covering many interesting concept maps for you for higher standards as well. So this is just for quick retention and quick memorization of the concepts that you have read. So for last minute preparation, these concept maps are extremely helpful. Thanks for joining in.